Ooh, I think within the first couple of minutes when he was on the defensive on just about everything. But when he really lost the debate was at the very end when President Trump said, you vote for this guy and your taxes are going to go up $6,000. That's the key. Jobs, taxes, the economy.
And I wish I had another word for Trump card because it's been so overused over the last 4 years. But that really is whether, you're running for president in 2020 or 2024 or 1992, that really is the Trump card, Jack. Joe Biden wants to raise America's taxes. And it's not just people who make more than $400,000 a year, because if you look at any of the analysis here, it's going to raise everyone's taxes. So, but let me ask the same question to you, Jack. I realized Joe Biden had lost the debate when
I saw him flip-flopping on issues right in front of the American people. The mainstream media has been able to cover up the real hypocrisy of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But last night, the entire nation saw him flip-flop right before their eyes. He literally said he was against fracking, and then all of a sudden, he was going to end the oil industry. And so, those type of things Americans are aware of, and they're not stupid. Americans understand when the politician is being a politician. And I think President Trump did a great job of really displaying that last night, showing Joe Biden as the typical politician that'll tell you what you want to hear, and he reinstated himself as the outsider. And I think that was really key going into November 3rd.
And that was the moment for me, guys, when I heard, Donald Trump really kind of laid this out in contrast about everything that Joe Biden had done, not only the 8 years while he was Barack Obama's vice president, but the other 39 years or so that he was in Washington prior to that. And let's play that clip, because for me, this was the moment when President Trump really kind of set the contrast.
He was there for 47 years. He didn't do it. He was now there as vice president for 8 years. And it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? Less than 4 years ago. He didn't do anything.
And KT, it's almost like you can almost hear the "we are drain the swamp" chants from that, because this, is reinforcing why President Trump was elected in 2016, because a lot of this country said, you know what, I'm frustrated and fed up with the status quo in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Here's the thing, that the takeaway is not even on the specific issues,
right,
but it's on the demeanor. Suburban women, they're the swing vote. We all know they're the swing vote. And they like Donald Trump's policies. They voted for Donald Trump in 2016. They like his policies, but they don't like his demeanor. And they don't like the vitriol. And they don't like the anger. I think the big takeaway last night was he showed those women that he actually can act presidential. He was substantive. He was calm. He went through the list. So I think there are a lot of women who were looking for reasons to vote for Donald Trump. And he gave it to them last night, which is, I know how to be president. I can be a great commander. I'm not hiding in the basement. And by the way, I'm not a crazy old guy in your uncle's attic. So I think that the big takeaway was that there are a lot of those Republican women who are going to come home and they are going to vote for Donald Trump. And
I'm old enough to know, KT, that I shouldn't try to guess what women are going to do, whether it's with their vote or anything else here. But I see what you're saying. And, when it comes to the kind of unsavory things that some people might not like about Donald Trump, there is at least this consistency with him in his approach to this, which I think also resonates with those same voters you're talking about.
Yeah, look, Donald Trump says a lot of stuff. He tweets a lot of stuff. I worked for him. He's even said to me the day after, well, maybe I couldn't have quite said it that way. He knows it. We all know it. Yeah. But it's to get people to focus on deeds versus words. Joe Biden was just a lot of hot air, right? And when Donald Trump said, you haven't done anything for 47 years, that rang true. Donald Trump, he may be a lot of strange words, but he actually gets the job done. And I think that's the real difference. And he's now given women the ability to just take a big sigh of relief and say, okay, he's not so bad. I'm going to vote for him. I may not tell a lot of people I'm going to vote for him. I may be a little shy about announcing it. But when I get in the sanctity and privacy of that voting booth, I'm voting for Donald Trump. Well,
listening to some of my wife's friends talking about this, I was curious just to wonder if these women were actually going to vote, because they may like Donald Trump. Maybe they voted for the last time around. But as you mentioned, KT, maybe there have been some things recently that they didn't like. And these women are busy. They're working moms. Yeah. They have full-time jobs. A lot of them have many children to deal with as well, and husbands who might not be as attentive as we need to be. But, Jack, the question is, were they actually going to show up, or were they going going to have to do something else, like maybe just take the kids to practice or get them home from school. But I think, again, what KT was saying is a lot of voters are going to come home based on what we saw. If they weren't already voting for President Trump, they're going to go ahead and make that decision based on what we saw last night.
Definitely. I think, missing the second debate actually is going to hurt Joe Biden a lot.
Yeah.
I think Trump having all of this momentum leading into, less than a week and a half into voter day. I think, women, I think minorities that are Trump supporters are going to vote at higher numbers. I think those folks that don't like Trump may stay home at higher numbers just because Joe Biden didn't really show anything that was going to, change their thought process or where they put their votes. So I'm expecting a big turnout for the base, but I'm also expecting a big turnout for the silent majority of the silent voter that won't go out into the public and say that they support this president.
Yeah, so far more than 47 million Americans have already cast their ballots either through mail-in voting or early voting. Election day just 12 days away. But KT, a lot of folks in 2016 did stay home because they didn't like the Democratic candidate, Hillary Clinton. And to Jack's point, I think there might be some of that happening now based on what we saw from Joe Biden last night, because I think another thing you can clearly say here objectively is that through the course of the night, Joe Biden lost some steam. He also looked, a little pasty, worn out, confused at times. And I was thinking to myself, one of these guys just recently got out of the hospital after falling ill from a potentially fatal illness. The other guy is Joe Biden.
Yeah, and Jack is really onto something from what he just said. It's all going to be about turnout. I mean, Donald Trump's report, his strong supporters, his base, they will walk over cut glass to vote for Donald Trump. Nobody's really voting for Joe Biden. And as you just pointed out, he really looks like a shadow of his former self. But do they hate Trump enough to go out and vote for Joe Biden? Here's what I think is going to happen. Donald Trump is going to get 80% of his vote, and they are going to vote. Joe Biden, he's maybe going to get 40, 45, 50% of his base. They'll vote. But when you look at those numbers, that means the guy with the enthusiasm factor, he's going to go vote. The guy who doesn't really care, well, like you said, probably taking the kids to soccer practice instead.
And KT, we got to run.